You didn't choose broken people. They chose you, and somewhere inside you, you already know why. There is something about you that people like that can sense from across a room. Something open, something warm, something that says, I will stay. And they have been finding you your entire life, not by accident, not by bad luck, but because of something that lives so deep inside you that nobody ever thought to name it. And by the time this is over, you will understand exactly what that thing is. And why the moment you do, everything changes. But first, let's talk about what this has actually cost you, because you have given in ways that hollowed you out. You have loved people at your own expense, stayed through things that were slowly breaking you, absorbed moods and pain and chaos that were never yours to carry. You would walk into a room and feel the entire emotional weight of everyone in it before you even sat down. You would sense when something was wrong before anyone said a word, and instead of being thanked for that, you were used for it. You became the safe place, the one who listened, the one who stayed calm when everything was falling apart, the emotional anchor for people who never once thought to anchor you back. And you told yourself that was just who you were, that caring this much was a strength. And it is. But here is what nobody told you. There is a difference between a strength and an open wound. And for most of your life, what you thought was your greatest gift has been functioning as an invitation. You smiled through things that would have destroyed other people. Quietly, without complaint, and not one person, not one, ever stopped to ask if you were okay. That is the part that does something to you. Not just the pain of giving too much, but the silence around it, the way you could be completely falling apart on the inside and still be the one everyone else leaned on. The way your own needs learned to go quiet, not because they weren't there, but because they had been interrupted so many times, they eventually stopped speaking up. Hold on to that. Because what comes next is the part that will actually change the way you see yourself. Here's the truth. The real reason this keeps happening is not because you are naive. It is not because you are weak or broken or choosing wrong. It is because you are a person who feels, and the people who have never learned to feel are drawn to that like heat. They do not come to you with bad intentions, not always, but they come to you empty, and you are full. And something in them recognizes that. Something in them says, this person has what I cannot access in myself. And so they take, not violently, quietly, slowly, in the small ways that are hardest to name and easiest to excuse. And here is where it becomes dangerous. Not for them, for you, because you felt their potential. You saw who they could be. And your gift, your extraordinary, exhausting gift, is that you can hold space for a version of someone that does not yet exist. You can love the possibility of a person more than most people love the reality of anyone. And that is beautiful. And that has been the source of almost every wound you are carrying right now. You were not loving broken people. You were loving who they could become. And they were loving who you already were, because that was easier than doing the work to become it themselves. Stay with me, because the part that actually sets you free is still ahead. You have felt this, that specific loneliness, the kind that does not go away in a crowd, the loneliness of being completely surrounded by people and still feeling like the only one in the room who actually understands what is happening. You have watched people around you move through life without ever questioning any of it, without ever feeling the weight of things the way you do, and you have wondered more than once, in the quiet of a moment nobody else saw, is something wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. Something is different about you, and different when you have spent your life around people who could not meet you there can feel indistinguishable from wrong. You have grieved relationships that other people do not even remember. You have replayed conversations alone that the other person forgot the next day. You have loved people who were fundamentally unavailable, emotionally, spiritually, and blamed yourself for not being enough to unlock them. You were not failing. You were trying to pour water into something with no bottom. The problem was never the water. And now, right now, something in you is starting to shift. Because awareness is the beginning of the end of the pattern. The moment you can name what has been happening, it loses its power to happen quietly. You start to see it earlier. You start to feel the difference between someone who is drawn to your warmth because it reminds them of what love feels like. and someone who is drawn to it because they want to consume it. That distinction, that specific hard-won ability to feel the difference, is not something broken people can take from you. There is a version of you on the other side of this that is still warm, still open, still extraordinary in the way you love, but dangerous now. Dangerous in the way that something precious becomes when it finally understands its own value. You do not close, you do not harden, you do not become what hurt you, you become something else entirely. You become discerning. And discernment, for someone like you, is not a wall. It is a filter. It is the difference between a light that draws everything in and a light that only illuminates what is worthy of being seen. You are not here to save anyone. You never were. You were here to become so deeply, completely, unapologetically yourself that the people who were never capable of meeting you there simply stop being able to find the door. The ones who were meant to stay, they will stay. Not because you gave everything, but because you finally stopped giving yourself away. That is not the end of your sensitivity. That is where it actually begins.